So what's going on in the football world of FIFA?
Oh, I don't know. Liverpool beating Man United 7-0. But you got no video idea, do you?
Yeah, I've been slacking and video essays are just tough to do.
Oh, I just know one thing that I found out about recently.
And that is?
Map of Europe. Big map of Europe for leagues and stuff.
And that idea is?
FIFA Imperialism it's called. It's a new trend that everyone's milking it dry. Have a look.
I'll give it a go, I guess.
Oh, sure you do. And also, that NFL video flopped. So do better.
What's up people, it's Average Iron, and in today's video I am doing an Imperialism type of video but with PES 2020, which has Euro 2020 and all 55 nations of UEFA. Disclaimer: please do not be offended by this video. I do not want to provoke any political reaction, and this video is just an experiment to determine who is the best team in Europe from a football standpoint. Nothing more, nothing less. Don't want to sound like an Infantino either, so in general this is another silly video I worked on for a few days. If there is any concern regarding this video, please let me know in the comments. Other than that, I just chose to do whomever made this FIFA Imperialism trend anyway. I'll just do my bit. As I said, this video is neutral in regards to the content to follow, so let's move on to the video. So let's begin this PES Imperialism by spinning the wheel of 55 nations of UEFA and seeing who we will get first. Then spin an arrow to determine which country will face whomst. One team wins and takes over the spot while the other is out. First game it's Denmark and we're looking southeast, which means Denmark shall face Germany. Here is one of the many screenshots highlighting the most important events of the game, as I do not have an Elgato to fully record and add on every single game, so this will be a long process, plus I chose the fastest options on the game to speed things up. Other than that, the first game ended with a 0-0 and Germany beating Denmark on penalties, which means Denmark is out. Most notable statistics is that Denmark had the better possession and most passes, but Germany were the ones who were better at penalties. So in general, statistics mean nothing when penalties have the final say. A key theme in today's video. Game 2 and Moldova is chosen. Arrow points northwest, which means they will play Ukraine. This is the highlight, the result of once again a 0-0 and a 3-2 victory for the Ukrainians. Game 3 and the wheel decides for Montenegro to play Serbia as the wheel faces northeast or so. Surprisingly, this did not end on penalties and Serbia lose to the Montenegrins 1-0 thanks to a goal from Bechirai, and that's the highlight. Game 4 and Hungary is chosen and the arrow determines eastwards, which means Hungary shall play Ukraine. Just like the previous game, home side wins with a goal from Shalai. Ukraine is out. Game 5 has Poland as the next wheel name picked and the arrow points west next to their neighbor Germany. However, the highlight is that Poland defeat Germany and eliminate them from the game way early. A glimpse of the ridiculous AI that PES has, so expect more mid. And this highlight shows Germany's goalkeeper taking an L. Game 6, Wales, Southwest, and we got our first VAR decision by the arrow which points towards the Azores Islands, which means Wales face Portugal and win 6-5 on penalties. Crucial that, and the highlight is them celebrating this big win. Game 7, Czechs against Slovaks. Slovakia win 3-4 on penalties, and the highlight shows Hanko delivering the only win for Slovakia so far. Game 8 is the first big shock of this competition so far as Andorra is chosen and face their southern opponent, Spain. However, in pure PES AI silliness, and Andorra beat Spain 7-6 on penalties. Absolutely hilarious result, and Spain are out, with a miss from Hector Bellerin being the ultimate image of this defeat. Game 9 and it's the Crna again. After the win against Serbia, they head south to face Albania and convincingly win 3-1 against them with goals from Mugosa and Beshirai, as this is one of the rare results in a pile-up of future penalty winning decisions from the PES AI. Game 10, Bulgaria. Arrow points southwest, which means they play North Macedonia and win with a simple 1-0 with a goal by Marcelinho. Game 11 points towards the Republic of Ireland, but another arrow VAR decision points Ireland towards Greenland, which belonged to Denmark, but Denmark lost to Germany, which subsequently lost to Poland, so Ireland faced Poland. End result, Ireland win 3-2 on penalties and had the lowest passes and possession. as the hot potato game begins. Game 12, Finland and arrow points west. It's Finland versus Sweden, with the yellow and blue winning 6-5 on penalties, with Larsen delivering the winning penalty. Game 13, Ireland and Norway play Scotland from the southwest, and Scotland somehow win 4-3 on penalties as Burge misses and Scotland's goalie poses like Randy Orton. Brr. Game 14, France and arrow points south, so it's Switzerland. My game, my VAR decision, I suppose. Highlight is France wins 1-0 with a Giroud goal. Game 15, Austria plays Hungary and Hungary win 3-2 on penalties to add on another victory following their previous one with a crucial save in the end. Game number 16 began on another day as the process of simulating these games took 3 days. Not to brag, but this is a long game as the next spin is pointed at Armenia playing against Turkey. They're in the same group in the Euro qualifiers, so I don't know. Keeping things short, Armenia win 1-0. This is the key highlight. Game 17 continues the games of Caucasus region as Georgia face Azerbaijan and win 3-2 on penalties with a picture-perfect save from Georgia's goalie. Speeding things through, Latvia get unlucky and face Sweden, who continue to add on victories. Then Armenia is chosen again and play Georgia and continue winning. Another mere 1-0 but a clinical goal as in the screenshot. Game 20 consisted of Gibraltar, who had to face Andorra, as Andorra slain the giant Spain on penalties, only for the stupendous AI to give Gibraltar the win, as home teams continue winning, and statistically Gibraltar being the better side than Andorra. I hate PES, and the AI coach mode sucks. Game 21 and Armenia play Bulgaria, but Bulgaria win on penalties with the screenshot showing the winning goal, and Bulgaria owning quite a lot of spots following that win, adding up to the hot potato game for the long term. The Montenegrins were once more placed by the wheel to face another foe, that being Romania, and Romania did their best with a Yanis Hadji miss being the biggest mistake for Romania's defeat, and losing 6-5 on penalties. Pain. To keep game 23 short, Israel was chosen to play Russia and lost on penalties. Afterwards, Malta were given a shot with an arrow pointing north, playing Italy. But unlike Andorra, no giant was slain again. Italy won with 1 goal from Immobile. But for Italy, the challenge continued as Croatia were chosen next, and Croatia failing badly in the penalty shootout with a 3-1 decisive victory for the Azzurri, as shown from Verratti scoring the winner. Game 26 had Belarus facing against the Russians, and surprisingly prevailing 5-3 on penalties, the most result, but I won't say much more. However, luck ran out for Belarus as Sweden faced them next and won 1-0 again with a sensational free kick. Goal at the competition in 1 screenshot. Sweden owns half of Europe now. Game 28 almost gets us at the halfway point as Iceland wins against Ireland on penalties, and by game 29 France continues their winning run by beating their easternmost neighbour, Liechtenstein, which almost caused an Andorra moment. 5-4 on penalties, however. Game 30 is Iceland facing Scotland, and Scotland win 1-0 with a goal from Naismith. Scotland owns majority of the north now with that win. Greece was next picked by the wheel and facing Bulgaria in probably the most interesting game out of the mid that has been seen in the last 30 matches. Greece scored 1 with Mitroglou as Bulgaria scored another, but ultimately Bulgaria win despite the statistics and remain like this for the next few matches. Luxembourg were chosen, arrow facing south and playing France, but France quickly won 1-0 and moved on thanks to a simple goal from Griezmann. San Marino was then chosen by the wheel, facing against Italy as all directions led to their neighbour, hence the landlock. But San Marino couldn't do what Andorra could as the AI continued to disappoint, and Italy won 1-0 by digging in through the weak defence, like France. Boring. Game 34 was Netherlands facing against Belgium, but Belgium being the victor with another 1-0 win, thanks to Lukaku header. The next game will be another case of absolute silliness, foreseen since Andorra beat Spain, and that is Faroe Islands, chosen by the wheel to face Scotland, which was surrounding all the spots from previously knocked out nations. Scotland led 1-0 in what was to be another predictable result, but Faroe pushed on in the second half and somehow scored 2 goals in 1 half, all thanks to Edmondson's double. A game of 2 halves, pure and simple. And Faroe Islands owns most of Europe now. Game 36 was an easy win for Italy as Gibraltar was swept out on penalties 3-0, the only penalties decided in the most straightforward fashion, Donnarumma saving it with ease. Game 37 was another one of the Arrow VAR decision making, which meant Sweden, which owned a lot of spots, faced off against Cyprus, and just winning 4-3 on penalties to continue Sweden's hopeful run towards being the best in Europe. After Faroe Islands somehow pulling off an absolute gamesmanship move, Sweden easily plowed through a conclusive 3-0 victory. For Sweden, this could be their last laugh. Game 39, it was finally England's turn as Northern Ireland were chosen to play them. However, football was never going to come home or in Europe, as they lost embarrassingly 3-1 on penalties with Foden's miss against the nations best known for George Best. To pile on the British misery, France faced Wales after another VAR Arrow decision led them to play, with France winning on penalties 4-3. With 2/3 of the way done with this milked out concept, the next game was Kazakhstan facing off against Sweden, who was a Goliath at this point. But in pure PES buffoonery, Kazakhstan beat Sweden on penalties 6-5. Cue the Borat music! Fortunately, Northern Ireland defeated Kazakhstan's short-lived domination as a 3-2 penalties started the last hot potato mayhem for the last 13 teams left in the competition. Here's an anime-looking screenshot of Northern Ireland's biggest triumph. As the end game began, Hungary played against Italy and won through penalties again despite the statistics 4-3, but then facing off against France, who then beat them on penalties 6-5. Away team disadvantage and poor stats thanks to a mid-AI coach mode system that is PES. Thankfully, France did not lose their next game as Slovenia were chosen by the wheel to face the nation that beat majority of teams. And the same to be said of the Slovenians, which lost 1-0. Kosovo mostly chilled in the last 45 games as Montenegrins were defeating sides and proving their underdog status. And then lastly winning 1-0 against Kosovo to wrap up another nation that mostly stayed away from the wheel. And once again, in another chapter of hot potatoing, Estonia were chosen to face Northern Ireland, and Estonia won 4-2 on penalties, which meant they owned Europe. Bulgaria then faced their last opponent to determine who are the kings of the Balkans from a PES AI perspective, and Bulgaria proving to be the victor, 1-0. Estonia next faced Lithuania, and the giant nation at this point were the better side, with another conclusive penalty thanks to a crucial save, 4-3, the last penalty shootout for some time. We are officially in the end game with 6 nations remaining. Bulgaria, who owns the Balkans and Caucasus, France, who owns most of Western Europe, Belgium, who just had 1 win against Netherlands and stayed well away from the wheel, Bosnia and Herzegovina, which was the last nation that has not played a game yet, and Estonia, which owns most of Europe, and Slovakia, which, like Belgium, won 1 game. The next match was to determine who will remain and make it to the final 5, and Bosnia was chosen to play Bulgaria and winning 1-0 with a Dzeko goal. In game 51, Estonia finally had a conclusive showdown against France and somehow beating France 1-0 by some AI luck and Dimitriev getting past Samuel Umtiti, which meant France finished 5th. However, the final hot potato game finally concluded with Bosnia winning against Estonia with another 1-0 with the Dzeko goal again, which then led to Belgium winning 1-0 against Bosnia with Lukaku scoring another, and then that led to the final 2, Belgium and Slovakia. There's Belgium, which is basically 9% of Europe, and then there's Slovakia in the heart of it. Bit of an interesting finish, if I had to say. So, the final was set. Belgium vs Slovakia, with Belgium having the final spin and having home advantage. But in classic PES action, it ended 0-0, with Belgium dominating statistically and straight to penalties. Belgium starts the penalty shootout with Eden Hazard scoring easily. Slovakia stepped up, but Courtois saves it. Mertens was next and cleared past Slovakia. Second pen for the Slovaks, and they score. Lukaku next and misses. Bozenic scores the next one, 2-2. Hazard's brother scores to make it 3-2. Then Hamsik misses as Courtois continues to save it in the most clinical moment. And then Castagnier is the one that brought Belgium the ultimate triumph, winning 4-2 on penalties and wrapping things up as they are the PES Imperialism winners. And just like that, Belgium win the PES Imperialism by winning against the runner-up Slovakia, who played 1 game and avoided the wheel until the end. So all in all, here's the final leaderboard of all the teams that participated from 55th to Belgium at the top. Notably, Denmark finished right at the bottom, Portugal 50th, Germany 51st, Spain 48th thanks to the Andorra surprise, Andorra 36th, Armenia 35th, Ireland 28th, San Marino 23rd, Gibraltar 20th, Faroe Islands in 18th, England in 17th, Wales 16th, Sweden 15th, Italy 13th, Kosovo 10th, Northern Ireland 9th, Montenegro 8th, Bulgaria 6th, France 5th, Estonia 4th, Bosnia with the bronze, Slovakia with the silver, and Belgium as the winners. And that's about it for this video. Hope this trend was worth exploring by utilizing PES 2020, and until next time, video essay coming up sometime soon. Latest.